Oh, snap! It's another episode.
Another episode of RU.coms. Kind of echoey today because I'm just going to be hanging out in a tunnel. And so, Potato in a tunnel and Sheepdog in a cave? No, not cave. Where are you?
I'm in a cave. Did you notice that the name of the show is Smock Todd backwards?
Yeah.
We should encourage people to use the hashtag SmockToddR.
Or just use the hashtag RU.coms.
Oh, that would work too. So you had a story you're going to tell me about what you're doing right now.
Yeah, what I am doing right now, I'm getting ready. So I am about to go to a socially distanced rave.
Oh, is that where you're dressing up like Jubilee from the X-Men?
Sure.
Well, excellent. Get it? Excellent.
I actually do have a Jubilee costume in my closet.
What's Wolverine's favorite breakfast? No, that doesn't work. What's Magneto's favorite breakfast?
Cheerios. I don't know.
Scrambled eggs, men.
Anyway,
ever made up on the fly, ever.
I'm so what it is I'm gonna be in a car and drive through a rave.
You're gonna drive. It's a drive-through rave. It's a drive-by rave. It's a drive-in rave.
Drive through.
Okay. So do you look for, like, I would imagine, like some kind of electric vehicle with a lot of bumper stickers to get your E?
No.
Well, you don't need the E because everyone's already rolling.
You're on a roll today.
No, I don't do drugs. Well, that'll be fun. You don't need glow sticks. You can just flash your headlights.
That's true. I did get the glow sticks though.
Oh, did you really? You're gonna like put them on your antenna or what?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna wear them like jewelry.
Now, did you get hydraulics to bounce your car to the beat?
I didn't actually. I'm just gonna go with the flow and figure out. Oh man. So even though I have my hair dyed already, I decided to get some of these little like hair streak things that you can purchase at Claire's.
Very cool.
They are shedding like a cat.
Like a cat? Okay, great. Now, if there's roadkill at a drive-through rave, does it make it better if it's a dead mouse?
You came with a book today full of jokes, didn't you?
No, these are just popping in my brains.
Oh,
my brainstem. Yeah. I'm just trying to imagine what a drive-through rave looks like.
Well, I would record it, but I have to be driving, so I won't be able to do that.
So you're the designated driver.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, at least everybody's being responsible.
Right. Everyone's in their own car, just driving through.
Okay. Well, how long do you get to be at the rave when you're driving through?
I think it's an hour.
Gotcha.
Or maybe half an hour.
Is this in a commercial, residential, or industrial zone? Because I think industrial raves are usually what people like the most.
Oh, it's through someone's house. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
No, it is in an area for events.
Now, a lot of people would spend like 4 hours at a rave typically, or 8 hours sometimes, depending. Couldn't you just drive to Vegas? Wouldn't that be the same thing?
You know what? You make some points, but I don't know.
Then you'd have to be in Vegas.
Yeah.
Rude. I mean, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Sponsored by like a charity or something? Is this a charity event?
It's sponsored by RU.com. No, it's not. It's
that would be big.
It's actually by people that make maybe I think that's what I read. Electric Daisy Carnival.
Oh, okay. So this is like a Burning Man kind of thing, except that you really hope that your car does not explode.
That would be not very great.
Yeah. So what kind of music do they play? I assume it's not Dave Matthews Crash Into Me and other automobiles.
It actually is. How did you know?
Life is a Highway.
It's gonna be like some Garth Brooks, a little bit of Papa Roach, and
wow.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I mean, I assume electronic music, because I mean, yeah.
It's a perfect thing. Like if they could play a little Willie Nelson though for On the Road Again, or some truck driving songs.
Some driving songs. That would be cool, but it's very much not going to do that.
The soundtrack to Cars with a little bit of a drum kick added in.
Yeah.
Life is a highway.
But not speaking of raves, I'm gonna start on our topic because I think we're just gonna
yeah. All right.
Since we're gonna kind of it's getting Anyway.
Intense. Now you promised that you were gonna do research.
Potato is going to a rave and it's gonna be fun. All right, so moving on. So I forget if I mentioned this before, but I was watching the show, and in the show, they wanted there was this character that wanted to open up a restaurant, and it's such a great idea. So I watched the episode, and I was like, cool, all right, but I hadn't really understood the idea. It just kind of like nodded and continued watching it, and then I realized it's such a good idea. So the idea is,
me
go to a restaurant.
Oh, I'm scared of that in COVID.
And then, this would be a good idea for after pandemic.
Okay, good.
You go to a restaurant, and you and all your friends, you all decide that you want to actually eat different things.
Mm-hmm.
So, this specific restaurant allows you to order food there.
Okay.
From anywhere you want.
Right.
And that's it.
Oh, okay. There was a chicken place that actually did this. They were buying Popeye's chicken sandwiches and selling it as their own in LA. And what was funny was that Popeye's found out about it, and instead of like suing them or getting mad, they loved the press that they were getting. Mm-hmm. And so they sold, I think they sold that chicken stores sandwiches at their Popeyes or something. I don't remember what they did, but they basically called them up and were like, hey, this is a great promotional opportunity. And they did something kind of like fun and cool instead of, like being all mad at them and stuff.
Instead of taking them down.
Yeah, because it's just a mom and pop place,
Yeah. Well, no, this is just like, it'd be basically like, you and all your friends, and you have like a bunch of people over, and instead of everyone ordering from a bunch of different locations and going to your house, instead everyone can just meet at this place because maybe the pandemic is over, and so now you want to see people like strangers. You want to be out with strangers. So
that sounds scary.
So you order this, and so it's just like as if you were going to go to any other restaurant, but instead of ordering food from that restaurant, your friends are all ordering from different restaurants that they want to eat at. So it's like getting Uber delivered to a different restaurant.
Now, see, I thought the best idea in restaurant history was one of those Taco Bell Pizza Hut places. I don't even see those anymore. When was the last time you saw one of those? No, do they exist anymore?
Yeah.
I think they should do something like that with, like, because brands nowadays, they've taken on new identities. So I think it would be really cool if they had a food court where you could vote based on your religious beliefs. So you could go to like Buddha's Chinese restaurant, or you could go to Chick-fil-A, or you could go to like Satan's Hot Wings or something. I think that would be really cool, like the food court of world religion.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, I did not understand where you were going with that.
Yeah, I think it would be cool. Like a meeting place for philosophy.
Maybe. But I'm going to say, once again, yes. So that place, I think if it really existed, it would be pretty awesome. And then they don't provide, you have to purchase it there. But the thing that you can purchase at the restaurant is their drinks.
Yeah.
So it's basically just a bar that you can order from any restaurant. You get me?
Okay, I gotcha. So that's their bar food. Gotcha. So they just Grubhub in whatever you want.
Correct.
I mean, that sounds like it would be really expensive.
Why?
It would probably just be easier to sell the alcohol and just let people bring their own food.
I guess.
I mean, that would be... I like the idea. I just wonder what the logistics behind it would be.
Well, it's from a TV show.
Sure.
So...
Well, I liked Kramer's idea of having a pizza place where you make your own pizza.
Isn't that just Blaze Pizza?
Yeah, but his idea was to actually have a pizza oven on your table.
So like what is it? Korean barbecue.
Yeah, that was kind of his thing. He was like, people like to make their own food now. And then Jerry convinced him that people would burn themselves. But I love Blaze Pizza. It's like Subway. They have like pizza artists.
Yeah. Yeah, they have artists there.
It's so fast. And it's delicious. And you end up spending way more on your pizza than you thought you would, like at those yogurt places where you buy it by the ounce. And you're like, oh, I want all these toppings, and then suddenly you're paying $25 for a yogurt that's larger than your head.
Unless you run away with it.
Oh, so now you're advocating for Dine and Dash.
I never said that. I just said if someone were to run away with it,
yes,
that would technically mean they didn't pay.
Yeah, but then the karma would get them, and they get the worst ice cream headache ever. Oh, brain freeze.
Oh my gosh.
The world is a just place. That's what would happen.
I mean, is it?
No. It's not. But that, it always brings up to mind too, like a restaurant that's called Just Desserts.
Huh. They have those.
I know.
There's various places that are called Just Desserts. It's no longer clever. Just like I can't think of one.
Just like the Cheesecake Factory. It's not a real factory.
Right. What is up with that? Very first time that I went to one, it was very sad. I did not see any cheesecake being made.
No, I was really upset when I went to the spaghetti warehouse because I was anticipating them to bring me my pasta on a forklift, but they did not.
Is that a true place? Is that a real thing? Are you making things up?
No, Spaghetti Warehouse is a real place. I don't know if it still exists. They had one in Columbus, Ohio. It was very good. If you like, what's the equivalent of Tex-Mex when you're talking about Midwestern and Italian?
I don't know.
But that's what it was.
Interesting.
Nothing like going to a place and buying spaghetti that costs you about 10 cents at home at a grocery store, but paying $15. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry, my subject, I thought, I guess we are talking about something, but I'm like, I had a lot more thoughts to it, and then, I don't know.
I think you're a little distracted because you're getting ready to rave.
Yeah. But I mean, no, it's also that. It's the fact that, like, I didn't really think the whole thing out. But I just think that would be something that would be cool if, like, once this is all over, if there were to be a place that was, like, a place that, you and your friends can all meet up, and it's not your house because, there's always like, oh, well, you can't go to my house. It's too messy. Like, oh, well, you can't go to my house because blah, 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 blah. So everyone has a reason. And then you end up just being like, okay, well, then what are we going to do? I do want to hang out. What do we do? And then having a place that everyone could meet up at, everyone can get whatever food they want. And then it's also like a bar. Yeah. I think that would be pretty cool. I think it's a good idea. You should look into it. You should do that.
It's kind of like a food court, but with less mall drinking.
Which is what? Because, I'm so used to drinking at bars. I mean, malls.
Well, that's what the stroller moms. I'm convinced stroller moms that walk around the mall, because you get like the older people, they come earlier, and then the stroller moms show up, and I'm convinced that they're drinking vodka in their water bottles because they have the most inane conversations. I worked in the mall for a long time, and it's always like, oh, Brenda, I told you. And they talk like that. They slur their words, and they got their kids, and they're all just standing around in their yoga pants like, drinking water. Uh-huh. My day off, Amber.
It's not their day off. They can't have a day off. They're stay-at-home moms. They work all the time.
Well, I'm just not assuming that they're stay-at-home moms because I'm a man of the 21st century, 30th. Which century are we? Anyway, let's move on to my subject.
Yeah, let's go to your subject.
So my subject's a lot different than yours because recently there was something that happened that kind of blew up. And, they have the old expression, and I do believe in it, and I tried to live by it, which is, if you don't have anything nice, don't say anything at all. But recently someone passed away, and I think I posted about it because I think it was an important thing, and I think I was fair to that person's legacy. But their legacy, unfortunately, they left the world a worse place. They just did. I'm sorry. Like, I respected what they tried to do, and I respected who they were, but they left the world a worse place. And I said that, and I got attacked by everyone because I said nice things about the person and I said mean things about the person. So is silence the only other option? This is a person that had nothing nice to say about anyone, which left the world a worse place.
I think you're totally fair in having said, I mean, I didn't see the said post, but if you said anything that, made them not seem so nice, like, that's not on you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but what was strange was that people were like, this isn't even about that person. This is about your words. Because I was like, well, I guess I could have said this or this or this or this. And these are all things that this person actually did with their life when they were here. And so I don't know. I don't think that they would have wanted to be remembered with this false. What is it when someone passes away, we turn them into a saint? I guess is the other question.
Agreed. Yeah. No, I think I fully agree. If you were shitty during your life and that's what people remember you as, let's not paint a fake picture about you. Let's just, obviously you strive to be not a good person. So let's remind everyone that you were not a good person.
Right. It makes you wonder if when Hitler shot himself in the bunker, if people were like, whoa, you can't say anything mean about him. And that was Godwin's law. I just brought up Hitler in a conversation about not saying anything bad about people. It's Godwin's law, bro.
No, I agree. That I feel like that's what it is. If you're gonna live your life not trying to be as good as you can, if people bring up all of that when you've passed away, then
right.
I don't know what to say.
I mean, this particular person was mean about Mr. Rogers. You know what I mean? If you have mean things to say about Mr. Rogers when he passed away, then yeah, definitely you should be checked. Like, hey, really? You're gonna get mad that he was particular about his own fitness or what? Like there's so little to pick on about.
Yeah, you cannot come for Mr. Rogers. Like that's not okay.
But that's where the term snowflake comes from, because people were like, well, Mr. Rogers convinced everybody that they're special. And it's like, yeah, that was his legacy, and it's a beautiful legacy. So
I think that he was trying to let everyone know that they were special. It was more like, all of those thoughts and all that, and all those words and stuff like that. It's supposed to be that, hey, you're different than other people. And it's true. Everyone's living a different life. So I hate it when people are like, well, it's easy for me, like, cool, but you're not this other person. And that's what that means. Like, you're not the same people. You're not living the same life. So it's like, yes, we are all different because we all have different brains and we all have different thoughts about different things because we've all had different experiences.
Exactly. And I think in a lot of ways, Mr. Rogers, because now we're going in, but I think his legacy is one to really celebrate and revere. His legacy was like a combination between community, the neighborhood, taking care of one another. He did episodes where he like went and hung out with Wiccans, and he was like progressive with a lot of like racial things and things like that. Mr. Rogers was really showing that collectivism is important, but at the same time, he was acknowledging that individualism is okay, that you're allowed to feel certain ways, that it's okay to acknowledge who you are as a person and that you're unique and different, despite his overall arching message of taking care of the community. So it's a really strange thing to focus in on one little tiny part of it and like chew at it. But then again, this other person, their legacy was division, and their legacy was to sell outrage for 3 hours. Mr. Rogers was a very quiet person. For a half hour, he tried to calm people, and it was very calming presence. This person just made people angry and changed the way that people speak to one another.
Right. And they knew that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have wanted it any other way. They wouldn't want to have been to remember that. They would not have wanted to be remembered as like, oh, yeah, they were so happy-go-lucky and
yeah, exactly.
They would say like, that's not me. They know who they were. Why would we make something up about them?
Right. Right. And this particular person should have been an inspiration for everyone. They should have been, because, well, okay, I don't think we can continue having the conversation with talking about this without saying who this person is. So we're talking about Rush Limbaugh, okay? You haven't figured that out.
Just by the way.
And I've always felt like I grew up I was a talk radio junkie. I didn't like listening to the radio music because they played the same songs over and over again, and I couldn't stand that. So I listened to talk radio, and eventually I quit it. I rage quit it around the time of the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War, because initially the callers would call up and say, I think we need to go to war with Saddam Hussein because he blew up the towers. And they'd be like, no, they didn't. But then they all started saying the memo line of the party's line, lying and building a case against going to a war against Saddam Hussein, who had nothing to do with 9/11, and it just got worse and worse and worse. They were all talking about the same things, and I had to pull away from it. And maybe it just opened up my eyes to something that was already existing at that time, but it really, they did change. The tenor changed. They were reading off of Karl Rove's memo or whatever, and also satellite radio was coming out and destroying the local conversation, and they were competing for air, so they all turned into Howard Stern.
Mm-hmm.
And it became, even Art Bell, his show Coast to Coast became less and less about aliens and ghosts and more about things like QAnon, basically. So I quit. I started listening to podcasts like this. Much better.
Like this, but not like this. Actually good.
Yes, exactly. But so Rush Limbaugh, a lot of people don't know, he was deaf. He went deaf. He went completely deaf, and he had a cochlear implant, or however you pronounce that. He would plug in his headset jack into his brain, into his implant, and that was how he hosted a radio show where he talked to people. He was a deaf man that made a living by talking to people. He was a man that overcame hardcore addiction to opioids. He won a freaking presidential medal last year, and people were just upset. And I understand why, because his legacy, what he actually did with his talent on loan from God, as he would say. If they were on loan from God, what did he do with them? What did he do with them? Studied political law.
I don't know. I just know he's not a good person.
Yeah. I mean, he used to play bells and whistles when gay people died, and he said Michael J. Fox was exaggerating his Parkinson's for attention. He used to say when people died, you want to talk about how when people died, he would say, "Oh, they've returned to room temperature."
Wow. Well, good thing he finally did it.
Yeah. I mean, he had been struggling with cancer. Like I said, there was, and that's stuff I acknowledge. That's the stuff that people that hated him didn't like, was that I acknowledged that, he was a pioneer in radio. He did all these things. He overcame all these obstacles. He couldn't hack it as a sports journalist because he couldn't not talk about the players in racial ways.
Honestly, yeah, I don't understand that people think you're automatically a good person if you were, like you were saying, oh, I'm the first person to do this. I'm the first person to do that. Doesn't change the fact if you're a bad person. Like, you could be the first person to find a new planet that, can sustain human life. But if you're garbage, you're garbage.
Yeah, if you're Jeff Epstein and you're looking for a planet where you can get away with you can fly away to, and you save human existence. And what we find is that humans are just, they're mixed bags. But we live in a society where we have to make money, and if you make money,
we live in a society.
We live in a society. And if you make money in ways that are, if your whole life is based around making money off of depravity, then that's a bigger problem than, like somebody that might just be weird sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say me? She said me. David.
Man, people are popping into the room, but they're
everybody
afraid to say anything.
They're not. Well, say something, folks. We're live on TikTok. The T to the T. Anyway, that's my topic. That's all I had to say. I wanted to rant for a little while.
Well, what do you think Rush would say about my idea? I guess it wasn't really my idea. It's that restaurant's idea. I mean, it was that TV show's idea.
He would probably say something like, "Yum, yum, I want to eat it all and put it in my tum-tum."
I mean, maybe. Though I think he would not be so keen on, young people, whatever. I don't know. I lost where I was going with that.
He would say, "Look at this. You can't mix these different types of foods together. You've got Chinese food sitting right next to American hamburgers. Ooh, it's going to get the Kung Flu."
Yeah, he's garbage.
Bye. Have fun at the rave.